Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Sologenic. I do want to say that I'm not a financial advisor. You should do your own research before investing money into crypto. If you haven't seen the previous update, make sure to watch that before watching this one. It's going to be linked in the top right hand corner of the screen. Now jumping into the TA. So as you can see, pretty much what I expected, Sologenic's pulling back down heavily. I did say that this was unsustainable, and as you can see, we have already dropped 64% since this high in, what was that? That was back in October, right? Yeah, October 13th, and then we printed a lower high at the end of October. And we've gone down since then. We printed the bearish cross on the daily, where the 20 EMA crosses below the 55, which is the red trend line over here. And we have been in this downward slope, and we're getting pretty overextended from the 20 EMA, which in fact tells me that we may see some sort of a relief rally to the upside here, perhaps retesting the 1.414 Fibonacci retracement level as resistance before eventually heading even further down, potentially, right? But it would be nice to solidify above the 1.618 here, which is around about 17.5 cents. So if you sold at these levels where I said that I would be taking profits like 38 cents and around 36 or 38 cents, then you would have seen a potential, let's say it was 36, right? Right now you're down 53%. So you could have bought back into Sologenic 53% cheaper, obviously, if you waited. Personally, what I would have done is I told you that I would have bought back, I think I told you I would be buying back in at 24 cents or something, or 22 cents, I'm not sure. I can't remember, but the 1.272 was 33.5%, the 1.414 was 41.5 cents per percent. So these two are good buying opportunities. Obviously, it went lower, but we should minimize our risk because we don't know if it's going to go lower. That's why we need to buy in at a certain period of time or at a certain point where you say, okay, this is enough for me, I'm going to buy back in. Right? And you can buy back in the exact amount of coins you had previously. You can buy back in and you can have a lot more coins. Sometimes what I do is I have 500 coins, for example. I sell at 36 cents, right? I wait for the price to go down. I buy the exact 500 coins only at 50% cheaper, and the rest of the money that I have, I put into a different project, right? So in fact, what I did is I kept the exact amount of money or exact amount of coins, but I got more fiat out of that, right? And I can invest that into a different project or withdraw it, whatever I want to do with it. So that's one thing, or one way, I guess, to look at swing trades. So on the daily chart here, this is pulled from gate.io. You can see that there is some sort of an ascending support trend line here. And I would like you to pay attention to this trend line because this potentially could hold us as support moving down if we potentially see more capitulations or Sologenic starts getting overextended to the downside even further. Then we can take a look at this pink trend line. And the yellow trend line here is something that we may retest. We almost got there a couple of days ago, November 29th. As you can see, we almost got to that yellow trend line, but still 14.5 cents roughly is going to be an incredible buying opportunity for Sologenic, especially if you took profits at these prices here with this pump. And this trend line is based off of this local high that we printed in September, right? If I zoom in a little bit more, you can see we went all the way up here, September 13th, got rejected, had a move down, printed a higher low. As you can see, this low was higher than that one. And then you obviously had that insane growth, and you could have made some nice money with this, obviously. But now it's time to buy back in, relax, and wait for the next pump is what I think you should be doing. And if you haven't bought in and you were looking at this pump and you didn't buy in during that pump, which I said was really stupid, you can just wait, right? Because if you're entering a project, you're opening up a chart, and you see this picture here, right? You see this, and you're buying at these prices while you're so overextended, right? While you're, let's see, while you're up 227% within a week, then you deserve, what's coming, right? You deserve this latter part. Because no one in their right mind would be buying Sologenic, a low cap gem, at these heights, right? I understand if it was a bull market, right, that could have been a different scenario. But in a bear market, where you see a 227% move to the upside in a week, right, in less than 2 weeks, let's say, right, it's not healthy. It's not sustainable. I told you that. So if you bought in here and you're wondering why the price went down 50%, well, it's because a low market cap project like Sologenic cannot sustain a 227% growth in 10 days over time. It's going to get, suppressed down because people are going to see that price and they're going to start taking profits. And it doesn't take a lot of people to start taking profits to push the price down because, like I said, once again, it's a low cap gem project, lower liquidity. You don't need that much money to move the price around. So I hope you've learned your lesson if you did that mistake. If you haven't bought in here and you've waited like a soldier, great. Congratulations. Now you can start buying in. These are very, very good prices for that. Okay. And potentially, if you start going lower, I would take a look at 12.5 cents, which is the second Fibonacci retracement level off of this Fib retracement. And by the way, this is I'm going to show you the high and the swing low. So this is the swing high of the Fibonacci retracement, and that is the swing low. All right. And based off of that, we have once again dropped below the 1.618, and now we're targeting the second Fib level. But obviously, before we get to the second Fib level, there's the pink trend line there, and there's the yellow trend line there that we need to lose. And I don't know if we're going to do that. If we will, you have been warned. You have these levels. You can set up buy limit orders, and you're ready. Switching over to the daily RSI, as you can see, this golden support block below us is where I would be dollar cost averaging as much as I can if I really believe in this project long term. So every time you have been in this situation where you dropped so much that you've reached this level of oversold, this happened back in May this year, in June, in September, and we haven't seen anything like that since, and we're getting suppressed down by this diagonal yellow resistance trend line. We had this fake out in October, obviously, but right now it's acting as resistance once again. We couldn't hold this as support. So in fact, you're dropping even below the pink trend line, which we held as support for a couple of months as well. And so yeah, we're not going to be holding the pink trend line anytime soon. And I think it's only a matter of time before we come back into this support block where you can buy a bunch of Sologenic at cheap prices. But I think that would happen only if Bitcoin saw a steep drop. And I think Bitcoin is going to see a steep drop only if we get more bearish news coming. So I would be keeping my ear out and my eyes out on the media news, because they're going to drop in a bunch of FUD as always, and they're going to try to scare you out of your coins. And when that happens, you got to sweep in and buy the lows. All right, so that should cover it for Sologenic here. We're not really going to talk about long-term prices here because, you know, it's quite a while before we're going to be getting back up to these numbers, in my opinion. But let's see what December brings to us. Hopefully, it's going to be another large pullback, because I want to buy Cosmos Atom at $5. And if I get that opportunity, man, I'm going to buy a bunch of Atom. Hopefully, I'm going to be able to do that. So if you have any questions, please make sure to leave them down below in the comment section. If you have any ideas or anything that I missed on the chart, please let me know as well. And I'm going to see you in the next one. Goodbye and good night.